maybe there are other requirements that we might get to that make that distinction more clear. Like, for example, in a universe where there are these other universes being created that are just so not like the thing that is creating that universe, there might be some questions that we can ask about that, like be skeptical about that idea that leads to
Yes.
another criteria that we can bring in, like parsimony, for example.
Yes. No, I agree. And I think that intuition seems right, that it seems to me that if we did interrogate that possibility more carefully, there would be constraints and limitations that would hint towards another criteria that we intuitively already assert.
My next thing on the list is explains mathematics, but I feel almost like that the explains physics, explains mathematics, we're sort of reducing in some way to explains patterns, or explains like specifically something scale invariant. It's kind of the patterns that persist throughout existence. And again, that sort of fits with that fractal thing. But I think no matter whether we call it a fractal or whatever, it's a pattern that exists like in nature and in various different ways in nature that we can extrapolate.
I think of what you're tagging with mathematics there. I think of under the title logic with a capital L, which I would think of as the objective regularities inherent in nature itself, and I think that explains those regularities. So in the same sense as I said in relation to physics, where, there are the regularities derive in our scientific models from certain physical, like all the special sciences ultimately reduce to physics, and physics is dependent on, these certain factors that could have been other than they are. And in that sense, we're going to want to find an explanation for the regularities which are contingent in terms of metaphysics. But I'm skeptical as to the capacity of metaphysics to provide an explanation for regularities in general, because it is an implicit commitment of any project of explanation that there are such regularities. And so there's no way to vindicate that commitment because it's implicitly assumed. You can't not assume it, so the vindication falls through.